Well, hello everyone. We're talking about for basic training based on anything such as electronics. Right here, you have right here is the phone right here for the Galaxy phone right here, and you have right here is the desktop right here. And how many of us would be professionally trained about how this works right here? You have right here is the phone right here, and we know that. With most of the time with phones like these, like if it's going to be the Galaxy or if it's a smartphone, that a lot of times that this right here will be like something that you can use to make phone calls with, and plus if you're going to be taking pictures or sending text messages or even receiving voice messages, right? Anything for your own personal use or anything that you want to do with your friends and family. But whenever you connected the device to a computer using like a USB connector, I'm like, yeah, use any source of connector. And to me, and I don't know if anybody knows exactly about if we are aware of this, but basically that whenever you connect your device right here, and let's just say that if you're just connecting it just to charge it, so let's just say that if you connect your phone right here to another device, like such as for a computer, or if you're allowing it to have access to a cloud, it basically means is that that any data that is collected from your phone is now being projected onto a screen. If you want to call it that, it's being projected onto a screen. But you have right here, go and plug this in right here. But you see right here is that go and plug it in correctly right there. You see right there, see that everybody? That with the computer right there, yeah, as long as it's able to read that device, and you see right there, it says is toward it to allow access. So it will not go any further. If we can see this right here, everybody, that what the computer is doing right here, that using Adobe, like using the Adobe Bridge program right here. But we see right here that with these two different devices right there is to allow access, allow the connection will be established to access the data. So in case of anybody that may ask is that if we've done this before, to where that if you're going to be showing somebody something, and I guess this is really good example if you're trying to share some of these files from your mobile phone. But if you're just charging the device, or if anything, if you're just using it, you're just trying to transfer any pictures or anything like that, we're talking about anything that is personal. And let's just say if it's going to be maybe for a business computer, that it's supposed to allow you to have more control, but sometimes in case of anybody that may say that if you're not very careful, then some of the private messages from the phone that could be copied to another system. And if you really think as to if that's really even necessary. But you go ahead and right here is that you would select right here, and then so yeah, that you got I'll go and exit out of here. But so yeah, you have these. I'll go and show everybody here. So this right here, was supposed to be like a meeting room right here. So we have right here is this big screen, this desktop computer right here. But really though, that I'm sure anybody who has experienced this, that if you're just working on something maybe for class or something like that, then you want to go ahead and if you want to show somebody, if you want to train somebody how this works or something like that. But do we really need anything personal being copied to another computer? And let's just say that if you're going to be at work using the company's computer, and let's just say if some of those files that could be related to something personal, and but still that just knowing about what you're doing, huh? But this is really when I want to point out, everybody here, that the reasons to maybe why sometimes transfers don't work, even though that the program that you're using to be able to collect the memory, that data, from that phone, is also because that you had to you have two different devices that are talking to each other. You have the authorization working on the mobile phone here, and then you got the computer that's waiting for the information to be collected. You're waiting for the gate to open, just to be able to collect the information and what you want to do with those files. So we know that that having a phone like this, like a smartphone or maybe a Galaxy 6 or CS6 or something, some phone like that, we would know that if we're going to be taking a picture with even with a smartwatch, and if you're going to be connecting it to another system. And maybe 80% of everybody else would maybe say that that you mainly connected your phone to the computer so it can get charged. And I guess the battery charge, I say that the battery's charging, but still though that the battery would be charging, but then at the same time that any data that is on the phone would be copied to another computer. And really though, that does everybody probably say that if you really need that for that to happen. But anyway, I'll go ahead and show everybody here that this right here was supposed to be like a meeting right here. And if you click allow access, so yeah, that basically means is to where if you click allow, and it's allowing the computer to go ahead and collect data from your phone, and go ahead and then that's including the voice messages, that's also including pictures, and it's also including any music that you may have downloaded from the website. I'm like, yeah, if we're talking about from Google Play, or if it's maybe from the Apple Store, that there are some music files in there that even from Facebook. I'm like, yeah, Facebook and maybe Google Drive that they could transmit to a computer, to a bigger computer. So yeah, that if you want to call it, is to where that the USB drive right here is basically a key. I guess if you want to kind of call it a key, it's really, if you want to call it a charger, and then if you want to call it connect, I'm like, yeah, a source, a way of how we want to call it, to where it's like a way to where that yeah. USB connectors, when they be connecting to a cell phone, and basically it's like a key to where that opens the door to all of the storage files that to this briefcase, if we want to call it like a briefcase. This briefcase that opens whenever that there's the right authorization that comes through from whenever you work with the phone, and then that you're able to see on the big screen. I'm like, you're able to see the projection right there on the big screen. So yeah, that in case of anybody that may say that if we've done this before, that we know our phones nowadays, even if you're on there maybe to place an Amazon order or something like that, I'm like, yeah, that you were just on there mainly just to check your emails and maybe get on Facebook. But if we're talking about if you're trying to show somebody something, and sometimes it seems like that something that's going on and maybe that you're not all aware of, but still though, I think it's really good to have backup files, and I know you can have that on your mobile phone. But I tell you one thing, though, everybody, that anything that you're going to be using your phone for, that even if you're going to be connecting your phone to the computer just for it to charge, I'm like, just for the battery charging, or just to charge the battery because the battery was low, you say that's fine. But I guess they say that are you aware that making sure that nothing private is being copied to another computer system. So I know that I don't know if everybody here really minds. It's like, yeah, that you can say that anything about maybe text messages from a girlfriend, or maybe from a night out or something like that. Any messages that could be coming to your phone, and let any music or something like that, musical files that could be copied too. But we are talking about that that with the phone right here, that it's basically that want to know about if you want to set the privacy. And but still doing it. This right here was supposed to be like a meeting room right here. I'm like, a meeting room. I'm like, but still that really though, that you were mainly you mainly were connecting this. Yeah, and let's just say if the case was that you were mainly connected in the phone right here just to be able to charge the battery, just to be able to give the battery more power. And it seemed like that there's more than that just happened. It was more like that now you have access to you have some of the voice messages from somebody else's phone copied to your computer, and you may even have maybe some of the text messages copied to the computer as well. So we are talking about some private information. It's like, so that's just a thing, though, that I know that with our phones nowadays, that we use it for about almost everything else. But I tell you one thing, though, that if we are not careful, I'm like, yeah. So in case if everybody knows that, to where that if we're going to be using anything it's what you call as a computer, I'm like, if you're going to have a busy day, like most of everybody's going to have a busy day, during the weekend or something like that, and then they go and plug up the phone into the charger, and then I say, yeah, I'll go and plug it into my laptop, and I'll go and hook it up and charge it up that way, and while they're talking, and then but still, most of the time, most devices like this, you say is to where there will be something on the phone. They would say, you'll give us authorization to be able to copy. So yeah, see this, everybody, right here. It works just like that right there. To where that you connect the USB connector to your phone, and it looks like that. Yeah, so you allow this USB connector to access the files, and so that's what it looks like. That right now that's able to read the device that's connected to the computer, and then it's able to collect the data from the phone. And so I know I've already I have already copied some of the pictures and all that earlier from my other computer, but just telling everybody here that if we're talking about somebody asks you to copy some of the pictures to a computer or something like that, maybe if it's for a business computer, that also includes the voice messages. It could also include text messages. So really, though, that the right device, and I know that maybe not all not all public. I guess if it's going to be the public system, maybe not even at the library. I might say that the library computers may not do that, but still, though, that we're talking about that is somebody that don't really know technology very well, or maybe if they're not aware of what our technology can do nowadays. But whenever you connect the computer to a USB connector cord right here, that basically means that it's like a key access to this device right here, to where that if you have the right software on your computer, you can actually connect the device, and that device then later would allow it to that person who's operating that computer would be able to listen to some of those messages. So let's just say that if it is a message from the doctor, or if it could be maybe tax forms or something like that, or maybe anything else that is confidential. But really, though, I just want to mention that to everybody, to where that if you're teaching somebody the basics, which that's fine, but just to let them know that anything that you're going to be showing them, that this USB connector right here allows this device to have access to those files. And we're talking about voice messages, and we're also talking about some of them could be text messages. So it seems like now it's like yeah. In case if anybody were to ask me, that a lot of times I really don't mind it, but still, though, that I just really think that to respect everybody else's privacy, though, that in case if anybody asks me that all what this person asks you to do is can you charge the phone up? Can you charge the battery up? Using your computer, and then they may not realize that some of the pictures and some of the voice messages were copied to the computer, but maybe not all computers are going to do something like that. But I'm just telling everybody that you should have control over your own privacy, and the last thing you need to remember is that somebody that could use your information to try to gain access to another website or anything else that is related to something, if you want to call it illegal or anything like that. But I just want to point out to everybody here that really can a USB drive really claim can you really use something like a USB drive right here to claim it yourself, to where this will allow you to go to the meetings, and then this will allow it to you that you can go to your doctor's appointment without having to get stuck in rush hour traffic or anything else. So I know USB connectors, USB connector drives, whenever this was first announced it's mainly for the charger. Yeah, I know, mainly for charging the battery, giving the battery more power. Refilling the power. It's like if you would call recharging the battery to the phone. But now it's like, what do you call that? To where it even on the online, to the Credit Cloud as well. They also got the Google Drive and all that. But still, that maybe if we all aware of that, to where that anything about what you call such as voicemails and text messages, we all know that most text messages are private. So in case of anybody that may say that whenever if you're going to be just connecting your phone to get it, if you're just going to be connecting your phone right here and be like, all I'm trying to do, try and get it in there, and all I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to copy the pictures I took from earlier, and then knowing about anybody who's willing to know exactly about what it looks like on there. But anyway, talking about the source of technology, it's like, if you're going to have a meeting with about maybe 8 other people and you tell them about all this stuff, and I could thinking too that really that what you were mainly working on was that somebody wanted to ask them like about the pictures that were on there or anything that you want to share with them. But I tell you one thing though, that most phones though would be some of them that would be for private. But anyway, I just want to show everybody here, and let's just say that So it's like, in case of anybody that may ask me that anything else that you would, but still. So this right here was supposed to be like a meeting room right here, and like we weren't too that that this right here was supposed to be the big picture and showing anybody this right here is the remote control, and then this right here is the big picture. That's the projector right there. And like I say that by the time that USB connector is connected, and you're likely one or two, would that mean that they were copied, that those files were copied, or does that mean that they were just available just because the device was connected? But unfortunately, to let everybody know that most devices like a USB, that whenever those files are then converted to a file on the computer, that basically means that they're not really considered temporary files. So anything that is private, that anybody would suggest, that if it's just temporary files, make sure that you clear any data that does not need to be shared with the public, and then knowing exactly, allowing this person to, I respect the property, I respect for whose ever files that they are, if they're for company reasons, and then maybe for personal use. So, as I say, we all deserve to have control over our stuff, especially over technology. But if we're talking about that you were just on here just to check something, and it seems like it goes much further than that. Sometimes it seems like that, you may think that it only takes about maybe 15 minutes to get something done. And it might say that, seems like it's been an hour. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.